Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Dr. Sev Talks Money YouTube and podcast. Today's show is twofold. We are discussing emergency funds and celebrating 3 years of live streaming. There may be a giveaway or two, but let's get into it. Again, today we are talking emergency funds, what it is, what purpose it serves, and a couple of ways we can build one. Here's something I've learned over the years of being in the personal finance space. I have learned we cannot assume everyone knows what we know about money. The things we think are simple and take for granted may be another language for someone else. We may be talking Chinese or Japanese or French to someone when we talk some basic things or what we think are basic things around personal finance. So, what is an emergency fund? It is money set aside for unexpected expenses because it's not a matter of if something will happen that require us to dip into our savings. It's a matter of when something will happen. So we need to set aside an emergency fund for those unexpected expenses. This is different from a sinking fund where we know what the expense is going to be. And so we're setting money aside for that. Like, let's say, for example, we're wanting to buy a house and we set up an account to save money for that deposit. That's more a sinking fund because we know what the expenses are. An emergency fund, we don't know what those expenses are. So we have to make contingencies. We have to set up that fund in the event something happens, and it will. So let's talk about the purpose of an emergency fund. An emergency fund is essentially a safety net that minimizes our reliance on credit cards to cover emergencies. When we have an emergency fund set aside, we're less likely to use a credit card to cover those emergencies because when we're using a credit card, we're getting to that cycle of an emergency happens, we use a credit card, then we can't pay it off because we don't have that emergency fund to repay it. So we keep dipping into the credit card to cover emergencies. So my goal today is to get you to understand that it's not as difficult as you may think to build that emergency fund. And having that emergency fund will create that safety net for you. Because really, who wants to rely on payday loans, paying back 400%, 800%, 900%, over 1,000%? I mean, who wants to pay $30 to borrow $100? These payday loans and these buy here, pay here, not buy here, pay here, buy here and pay after. Those things are traps. And if we have emergency funds, we can dip into them. Not to say that there won't be things sometimes that our emergency funds won't cover, but if we have that emergency fund, we can weather the storm when we have home repairs, medical emergencies, auto repairs. If you have pets, you're going to have pet expenses, unexpected pet expenses. And, even in the event of a job loss, if you were to lose your job, can you sustain yourself and your family for a few months while you look for a job? If you are in a toxic job situation, can you walk away knowing you have an emergency fund to give you some breathing room to be able to take your time to look for a job? If you're in a toxic relationship, can you walk away knowing you have that emergency fund and that will give you breathing room to be able to get yourself together? So again, the purpose of an emergency fund is there are myriad of purposes. But one thing I do know is that it matters to have that emergency fund because it gives you peace of mind. At least for me, it does. It gives me peace of mind. It gives me a sense of financial security. It gives me a sense of cushioning against those unexpected circumstances. So for me, that's what a an emergency fund does. So if you have an emergency fund, I'd love for you to put in the chat what it means for you to have an emergency fund. What kind of security does it give you? What does it give you? How do you feel with having an emergency fund? And if you don't have an emergency fund, how do you feel about not having an emergency fund? And we're going to talk about some things that you can do to build that emergency fund. And Dr. Carter is saying here, emergency funds allow us to help with the unexpected. And really, we want to have that. And it doesn't have to be a lot of money. We just want to start somewhere. Because if you were to go on a vacation, for example, some people choose to go on a vacation. Nothing wrong with that. You want to enjoy life. But if you don't have an emergency fund, you use your money, you go on the vacation, you come back, something happens. Your washing machine breaks or your automobile breaks down. What happens? Now you have to use a credit card. And if you don't have a room on your credit card, you have to do a payday loan. So we're getting in that cycle. So that emergency fund really, really helps. I know it has helped me to kind of give me some breathing room. I'm ready to make some big decisions in a few months, and having that emergency fund is giving me such a breathing room. And I'll share what that big decision that I'm making in a few months. I'll share it when I do it, when I make the decision. But it's really giving you breathing room to be able to make decisions, walk away from toxic relationships, walk away from toxic jobs, having that emergency fund. So let's talk about ways we can build an emergency fund. And before I even talk about that, what I wanted to let you know is that how much you save is based on your lifestyle, your needs, and your financial goals. I can't tell you how much to save for your emergency fund. You can't tell somebody else how much they should save. Well, I won't say can't. We can do whatever we want, but we shouldn't tell anybody else how much to save for their emergency fund because we don't know their expenses. The conventional wisdom is that you want to set aside 3 to 6 months of living expenses for your emergency fund. But what if you don't know what your living expenses are? Then how do you create that fund? How do you set a goal? So the first thing we want to do is to set our emergency fund goal. And in order to do that, we must know our numbers. And that requires us to do the dreaded B word, the budget. It requires us to set up a plan for our money, because what a budget for me, let me share what it does for me. I don't like to budget. I'll tell you that now. I coach people about budgeting, but I don't like to do it. But here is what I do know. When I budget, it gives me freedom because now I know what numbers I have to work with. I know the parameters in which I'm working with my numbers. I know what to move, what to cut, what to increase, because I know my numbers. So the first thing you want to do is to know your numbers so you can set your emergency fund goal. The second thing you want to do is reduce where and how, figure out where you can reduce unnecessary expenses. If you have not listened to last week's live stream where I talked about saving money on food and minimizing food waste, I'd love for you to do that because that's one area where we can save money. Each year, 119 billion pounds of food is wasted in the United States, and 42 billion pounds of that is wasted in our homes. We throw away a lot of food. That's money, not food so much, but money we're throwing away. So if we can figure out ways we can reduce unnecessary expenses, that's one thing we can use to add into our emergency fund. Number 3, save money, save some of your windfall. If you get tax refunds, don't spend it all in one place. If you get birthday gifts, money for birthday gifts, if you get bonuses, take some of that and build your emergency fund. Because as I said before, it's not if something is going to happen, it's when something is going to happen. That washing machine is going to break down. It happened to me. Your automobile is going to break down. It's happened to me. You may need to replace all four of your tires. It's happened to me. The reason I did not stress and panic is because I had that emergency fund. So let's talk about number four. Make some extra money just for the emergency fund. If you don't have any room in your budget, and I promise if you work with me, you will find some money in your budget. I promise you that. But let's say you think, I don't have any extra money in my budget. Find something you like to do. Do you like to bake cake? Go to your workplace. Hey guys, I have cake for sale, $3 per slice at lunchtime. Do you bake cookies? Can you sew? Hey, friends, family, uh, coworkers, church members, do you need someone to hem that dress that you bought that's a little too long, the pants that's a little too long to take in the waist? I can do that for $3 per pop or whatever. There are ways that we can be creative to make some extra money just for our emergency fund. And if it's something that you want to do just for maybe a few months to build that emergency fund, maybe you don't want to do it permanently. And that's something you can look into. That, okay, I'm not going to do this permanently. I just want to do it to build that emergency fund to give me some breathing room. Number five, automate, automate, automate. I cannot stress that enough. How important it is that when you automate your savings account, out of sight, out of mind. And the reason I can tell you this is because that's what I have done. For those of you who've been following me, you know that I got divorced in 2015. And it decimated my finances because of all the different things that happened. And I guess I did have a little bit of cushion, but not in emergency fund. And today I was able to buy a house. I was able to buy an automobile new. I'm able now to have several months of emergency fund where I can walk away from my job if I want to. I can do a lot of things. I have breathing room. And that came from me automating my funds. What I decided to do was open a separate account, which is number 6. Keep your emergency funds separately. What I did was open a separate account with Navy Federal. And then when I found out they don't pay anything, they pay peanuts, then I opened an account with American Express, savings account, and then with Ali. And I have money going there. I think I started with like $10 going out of my paycheck each month. And now it's up to $275 out of every paycheck. So I want you to start small. I know there's some of you listening to me. Now, if you're not working, that's a different thing. But I know some of you are listening to me and you're thinking, I don't have it. As I said, if you work with me, I'll find it for you. And even if you think you don't have it, start with $1, start with 5, automate that and let it go to a high yield savings account, like American Express or Ally Bank. And you will be surprised because out of sight, out of mind. And when you go look at it maybe several months later, you'll be surprised how much it has grown. And the last point I want to make is any sacrifice to build your emergency fund is temporary. Always keep that in mind. I am doing this so I can have peace of mind. I am going to build this emergency fund so I can have peace of mind. So I don't mind not eating out. I don't mind not buying the newest purse, the newest pair of shoes, the newest dress, whatever. I am going to sacrifice for a month, for 2 months, for 3 months, so I can build this emergency fund, because on the backside of that is peace of mind. On the backside of that is safety, a cushion to know that no matter what comes, I have something to be able to pull from when those emergencies come. So I hope that's been helpful to you as you listen, because again, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter how much you start with, it matters that you start. And again, I can share my story that I started small. And today, my emergency fund has given me such peace of mind. So let's check in on the comments. Beverly said, I don't worry about things because I have an emergency fund. Awesome. Tracy said, good afternoon, Dr. Severin. Good afternoon, Tracy. Dr. Carla says having an emergency fund gives me peace of mind and alleviates anxiety. I mean, it really does. And for those people, people always say they don't have money, but we can find money when we need it for what we need it for. We can always find it. So, if we want to go on a vacation, we're going to figure out a way to save for that vacation. Well, what's better than a vacation is that peace of mind, is setting aside that money for peace of mind. So, if no one has questions about our emergency fund discussion and it's open for questions, I want to go to the fun part, which is the celebration. I want to thank you guys for supporting me over 3 years, where I have live streamed to YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook simultaneously every Sunday afternoon. I did take a break, but I'm counting my break in there. I did take a break, but for 3 years I have been live streaming, and you guys have supported me. You've come back and watched and listened and commented on the posts that I have made, or the live streams that I've made. I've taken those live streams and I have repurposed them into podcasts. And as of today, I have nearly 1,000 listens on my podcast. And even though the podcast has not started later than 3 years, but I have over 1,000 listens on my podcast. So thank you for that. And I am getting ready to now take the transcript from the podcast, and I am putting it into GPT to help me reformat it, and it's going to be posted on my website as a blog. And I was only able to get here and to do what I'm doing because of your support. So thank you so much. So I have 2 gifts that I want to give away to someone. I'm going to share my screen in a little bit with the giveaway tool. But the first thing I want to give away is this t-shirt, and it says financial freedom is the new sexy. It's a large and it's in black, and I'm going to give that away. And then I'm also going to give away a $20 Amazon gift card. So thank you so much for your congratulations. I am going to share the giveaway tool, and everyone who has commented, your name will be entered in the giveaway tool. Typically what I'll do, I'll say, put a phrase in there, and then I'll run it for those who've entered that phrase. But today I just let whoever's commented that you will be entered automatically in the giveaway tool. So let me go ahead and share my screen in the giveaway tool. All right. Can you see the giveaway tool? I want to make sure that you can see it. Can you see the giveaway tool? Just let me know. Yes, no, that you can see the giveaway tool. Okay, awesome. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to start collecting comments and do the first draw. Let's see who is going to be selected. Beverly Harper. Now that makes sense that you are selected, because you have been here just about every single week when I do my live streams. If you don't see me post a live stream, you ask, are we doing a live stream this week? And you've been such a support. So I am very happy to send to you the $20 Amazon gift card. So let's draw again for the t-shirt. Let's see who's going to win the t-shirt. Let's see. It should take out Beverly's name. Oh no. Okay. Let me, not sure why it's doing this. I have to rerun it again, because it should take out the person that won. Not sure why it's not working. So let's draw again. And I hope it doesn't come up with your name again, Beverly. Oh no. All right, let me try to figure out how I can do this. Everybody else, I'm going to have you put a comment, put a word in the chat, because it's not letting me go past your name, Beverly, for some reason. So if you would, everybody except Beverly, just put a word in the chat. Put win. Put the she's meant to have it. No, I wanted somebody else to have it. She's won, actually, she's won the t-shirt before. So she's won it at another session. So I want to give it to somebody else. All right. So if you would put in here, just put win, the word win in the chat, and then I will search on the word win. So if you just put that for me, win, just put the word win. All right. I see two wins. Anybody else want to enter with the word win? All right. So I am going to run it again. Or maybe I'm not doing it right. Let's see. Let me come out of here. Oops, 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 oops. That's the wrong thing. Let me try again. Uh, bear with me, bear with me. Let's try this again. Oh boy. I tell you, whenever anything should go wrong, it will go wrong. All right, let's do that again. Control C and Control V. All right, so the text is win. I'll enter that. Let me share my screen again. Okay, so the text is win, and this broadcast. So if you were already entered win, let's start collecting comments again and draw. Ah, Tracy, we'll talk offline. Congratulations to Beverly and Tracy. Again, thanks everyone for your support. Tracy, I will get in touch with you offline so I can send you your t-shirt. Thanks again, everyone, for your support over these last 3 years. I am now at nearly 1,400 YouTube subs. I am over 1,400 followers on LinkedIn. I am over 1,700, I think, on Instagram. I am over nearly 1,000 on Facebook, regular Facebook, and nearly 300 on my Facebook page. So you guys have been just so supportive and just listening to me gabbing about stuff. So I really, really appreciate your support. And I hope you can come back next week. We won't have a live stream, but the following week we'll have a live stream, and I may have a guest, and we're going to be talking about the difference between a financial coach, a financial planner, and a financial counselor, because there are differences. We do different jobs, and I want you to understand when you hire me, what you're getting from me. And before you go, if you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't, like and subscribe if you're watching me on YouTube. If you're not, jump on over to YouTube and like and subscribe to the channel so you can hear more of the awesome subjects, the awesome topics. And if there's a topic that you want me to talk about, don't forget to send it to me. I have a list of potential topics that are coming up, but I'd like to add yours to it if you have something that you'd like for me to talk about, or if it's something that I'm not well versed in, I'll have a guest come on and we can discuss it. Until then, everyone, have a wonderful Sunday afternoon, and I will see you next time.